One of these men earned over $1 billion in the ring. Today, the IRS has chased him over millions in unpaid taxes, with liens filed against his name. The other earned a fraction of that, walked away early, and hasn't had to think about money since. Both grew up with nothing. Both got rich young. So how does the billionaire end up with creditors on speed dial, while the man who earned less retires untouchable? The answer comes down to 5 habits, and none of them are investment advice. Get them right, and a normal paycheck compounds into freedom. Get them wrong, and $1 billion disappears, with the receipts to prove it. And number 3 is the one almost nobody can actually pull off. So how does that happen? How do people torch fortunes most of us will never even count? Look at the people who get rich the fastest. Sports Illustrated once ran the numbers on pro athletes and estimated that around 78% of NFL players hit serious financial trouble within 2 years of retiring. For NBA players, they put it near 60% inside 5 years. More money in one season than most people earn in a lifetime, and broke before the jersey's out of fashion. Lottery winners tell the same story. Jack Whittaker hit a $315 million Powerball on Christmas in 2002. Within a few years, the money was gone, along with most of the people he loved. The worst thing that ever happened to him arrived gift-wrapped. If money were the answer, none of this could happen. A pile that size should be physically impossible to burn through. And yet it happened so reliably that psychologists actually gave it a name. We'll get to that one, because it's habit 4. What the research keeps landing on is uncomfortable. Wealth isn't a number you reach. It's a behavior you repeat. The people who keep money think about it in a completely different way than the people who lose it, and the entire gap fits inside 5 habits. We're counting up to the one that matters most. Let's start at the bottom. Habit 1 is the easiest to say and the hardest to watch people ignore. The losing move is to turn money into objects that look like wealth. The winning move is to turn money into things that produce more of it. Floyd Mayweather is the cleanest example in modern sport. Across his career, he earned north of $1 billion, and his strategy was almost pure consumption. Cars, watches, jewelry, private jets, mansions, beautiful machines, every one of them losing value from the second he signed. Now look at LeBron James. He took an equity stake in Beats by Dre before Apple bought it. He bought a slice of Liverpool Football Club. He put money into Blaze Pizza when it had a handful of locations. Mayweather collected things. LeBron collected ownership. That's the kind of difference that makes accountants weep with joy. And the reason this sits at number 1 is simple math. Every dollar spent on something that depreciates is a dollar that clocks out and never works again. Every dollar parked in an asset keeps earning while you sleep, while you train, while you do absolutely nothing. Think about that for a second. One version of you is working, the other version is just collecting. But knowing this and doing it are different sports. Because the reason a man buys the Bugatti instead of the building is almost never math. It's psychology, and that's habit 2. Habit 2 is about what money means to you. Mayweather treated it as proof of who he was. The people who keep their fortunes treat it as a tool that does a job and then gets out of the way. And Mayweather basically ran this experiment for us. He didn't nickname himself the best ever, even though he thought it. He called himself Money. The name was the whole thesis. For him, spending wasn't celebration, it was evidence. Every visible purchase was proof that the kid who grew up with nothing had become someone permanent. This pattern is so old it has a name from 1899. The economist Thorstein Veblen called it conspicuous consumption. Buying expensive things not to use them, but to be seen owning them. A $200,000 watch tells the same time as a $20 Casio. It was never keeping time. It's keeping score. Now meet Manny Pacquiao. comparable career earnings and arguably an even rougher start, growing up in genuine poverty in the Philippines. But Pacquiao pointed his money outward, at schools, at infrastructure, at a political career. By most estimates, he's hung onto a fortune somewhere around $220 million. Mayweather, by his own creditors' paperwork, is on considerably shakier ground. Same childhood, opposite ending. The only thing that really changed was where each man decided his identity lived. And you cannot out-earn a spending habit that's secretly answering the question, who am I without this? No financial advisor alive can fix that, because it was never a money problem to begin with. Which sets up habit 3, the one running underneath all the others. If this is rewiring how you think about money even a little, subscribe before we get to number 3. Every week, this channel takes apart the real psychology behind how fortunes get built and torched. And number 3 is the habit sitting underneath almost every collapse we cover. This is the deepest of the 5 because it has nothing to do with money. It's brain chemistry, and the entire luxury industry has spent a century learning to play it like an instrument. Neuroscientists who study reward found something genuinely weird. The dopamine hit from a luxury purchase doesn't peak when the box arrives. It peaks the moment you decide to buy. The wanting is the high. The having is almost a letdown, which means the good feeling is basically gone before the courier even knocks. Once you notice this, you see it everywhere. It's why a man can own a watch he's worn twice and already be 3 tabs deep researching the next one. The first watch didn't do anything wrong. It just already did its one job, the chemical hit of deciding to own it. And now the brain is bored and shopping again. Thousands of people very politely helping each other relapse. The people who keep their money have usually, without ever naming it, learned to sit in the gap, the pause between wanting a thing and buying it. They let the spike rise and they let it pass. And because that spike was the actual engine behind most of the purchase, letting it fade kills the urge with no willpower drama at all. If you only ever fixed this one habit and ignored the other 4, you'd still end up wealthier than most people you know. It's the skill the final 2 habits are secretly built on. Without it, they fall apart. With it, they almost run themselves. There's a reason the genuinely rich are so often described as boring. Boring is just what winning the dopamine war looks like from the outside. Habit 4 is the one that specifically executes windfall people, and it comes with a clinical name. Psychologists Stephen Goldbart and Joan DeFuria called it sudden wealth syndrome. It shows up in people who go from very little to a great deal very fast. The mechanism fits on a napkin. Your lifestyle scales up to match the biggest check you ever saw. Then it flatly refuses to scale back down when the checks get smaller. And what comes next is the part that still doesn't make sense to people who've never earned big money in bursts. Boxing purses arrive in enormous, irregular spikes, not a steady salary. Lottery wins arrive once. Inheritances arrive once. In every case, the person feels rich in a way that assumes the feeling is permanent. The spending locks in at the peak. The income does not. Mike Tyson earned somewhere north of $300 million. He owned mansions, pet tigers, a bathtub that reportedly cost over $2 million. By 2003, he'd filed for bankruptcy, roughly $23 million in debt. The income was a fireworks show. The overhead was a mortgage that never ended. The wealth-keeping move here is aggressively unglamorous. You build your life around the income you can count on repeating, not the best number that ever hit your account. You treat a windfall as a one-time event to deploy, not a new salary to match. It's the financial version of always packing an umbrella. Deeply annoying on a sunny day. Life-saving the afternoon the sky finally opens. Up to now, every habit has been a war you fight inside your own head. The 5th one is different. The fifth one walks in the door with everyone you've ever known. Habit 5 disguises itself as generosity, which is exactly why nobody warns you about it. It's the urge to fund everyone around you as proof you made it. The people who keep their money learn to keep the circle small and the obligations clear instead. People who study lottery winners name this as one of the fastest ways big money evaporates. Funding family, bankrolling friends, carrying the whole old neighborhood. And the engine usually isn't kindness. It's status. When the people who knew you broke are watching, spending on them is the loudest possible proof that the story has changed. And this is the part where it stops being sweet. An entourage isn't a gift, it's a subscription. A recurring monthly cost that grows as your visible wealth grows, which means it scales up at the exact moment habit 4 is screaming at you to scale down. The two failures hold hands and jump together. It's tempting to picture the fortune draining through one big disaster. Usually, that's not what happened. It left in 1,000 small, warm, generous payments that felt like love every single time. None of this makes the wealthy stingy. The line is between giving as a choice and giving as a reflex to prove something. One is a decision you can afford. The other is a leak you can't see because it's disguised as the best parts of you. Step back, and the 5 stop looking like 5. They're one mindset, photographed from 5 angles. You only buy assets instead of trophies once money has stopped being your identity. Money only stops being your identity once you can sit through the urge to prove it without reaching for your card. Winning that urge is what frees you to plan for the income stopping instead of betting your life on a future check. And planning for the money to run out is exactly what gives you the nerve to protect your circle instead of funding it. If you're wondering why income alone never tells you who keeps their money, this is the answer. Pull out any single habit and the others start to wobble. $1 billion run through the broke version of these 5 still ends in liens and creditors and a gym full of paperwork. A modest income run through the wealthy version ends in something that looks boring from the outside and is paid for, permanent, and free on the inside. The man with the spreadsheet understood something the man on the balcony never did. Looking rich is the single most expensive thing a person can buy, and he simply refused to pay for it. He called himself money. That was the tell the entire time. The people who stay rich figured out that money is a tool. Everyone who went broke holding a fortune thought it was a mirror. So if you keep one thing from all of this, keep the habit underneath the habits. Wealth isn't what you earn. It's what you no longer need to spend to feel like yourself. And if you want to watch all 5 of these habits run in reverse, at full speed, with $1 billion on the line, the Mayweather breakdown is right here. It's these same 5 rules applied perfectly backwards, and it's the best case study this channel has. Go watch that one next, and I'll see you in it.